This video is sponsored by CuriosityStream. When you sign up at the link in the description, you also get access to Nebula, a streaming video service that City Beautiful is a part of. A year and a half ago, I reviewed some of the most amazing cities designed in Minecraft. Since that time, I've received dozens of submissions from Minecraft city builders asking me to review theirs, and until now, I've said no. But I think I've found the best planned city in Minecraft. Let's hop into the game and I'll explain why. Okay, so we've landed at the airport in Andia City, and this is the city that I think is the best planned Minecraft city I've ever seen. So we're here at the airport, and the reason I think this city is so cool is that they role-played the writing of an actual city plan. So not only did they build a great Minecraft city, they also did a great Minecraft plan. And it's more than a strategy document or a coordination document among the many people who work together on projects like this. It's clear they look to real city plans when drafting their own document. So kudos to them, and that's why I want to highlight this project. It's just so amazing. So we're still at the airport, and the taxis here have square wheels, so I don't think they're going to get us into town anytime soon. So what I want to do is first introduce the city itself. So we'll take a look at the map, and then we'll dive into the different neighborhoods and talk about that city plan that I think is so amazing. Okay, so here we are looking at the map of Andia City. So the Greenland-looking island in the middle is where the main city itself is. You can see it on the east central part of the landmass. And right next to it is the airport on the eastern side. And you can see it's massive. The size of the airport is approximately the size of the built-out area of the city itself. And this took me down a weird rabbit hole because I was wondering to myself, where else might they have an airport so huge that it would dwarf the city it serves itself? So I did a little Googling, and I wanted to find out where the largest airports in the world are, because I was guessing that those would have a high probability of being ones that could dwarf the size of a city. And my guesses were that Denver and Dallas would be two of the largest airports in the world. And I was close. So when I did my research, I found out that Dallas is the third largest airport in the world by land area, and Denver is the second largest airport in the world by land area. The number one largest airport in the world is the King Fahd International Airport in Dammam, Saudi Arabia. Now, Denver's airport is twice as large as Dallas's, and the King Fahd Airport is 6 times larger than Denver's. It's bigger than the nearby country of Bahrain. So what I'm saying here is that there's some precedent for an airport being larger than a country, so one being larger than a city isn't so crazy. Though this airport in Andia has only one runway. So I guess there's room for expansion of this airport if they build out into the sea, and it could continue to dwarf Andia City as that city grows. Anyway, sorry for the digression, but it's fun to talk about airports sometimes. Okay, so we have the airport on the east. In the center, we have the city. And over to the west, you can see the beginnings of an industrial port area. Now, if I could make any small critique of this map, not that they asked for this or it's my business, but I would have put the airport maybe on the western side with the port, because it's sort of a synergistic land use to have an airport and port right next to each other. And that way, the folks looking out from Andia City into the water wouldn't necessarily have to see an airport in the distance and planes landing and taking off. They could just sort of look out over whatever body of water this is, if this is like an ocean or something. So just a thought, but at least they provided some green buffer between the airport and the city on that island with the airport. Okay, so now that we have a sense for where everything is in this map, let's start by diving in. And we're going to start at the southern end of the city and work our way north. So our first stop will be the Bel-Air Neighborhood, which is actively under construction right now. Okay, so we've arrived in the Bellevue Neighborhood in the southern edge of the Andia City area. And I'm already getting a sense for an inspiration here. I'm feeling like it's a little bit like Venice Beach in LA with its skate park. And I think that's like a basketball court over in the distance. And those are two prominent features of the Venice Beach boardwalk. And actually, as we kind of head down here, I'll fly over the skate park. But the Andía City plan talks a lot about the inspiration cities that they're looking to when they're designing the city. And LA is one of those cities. So here we have the Nike store, which is kind of funny. Got some corporate influence here. Man, this is the most 90s basketball court I've seen in a while. But anyway, the general plan here, the plan of Andía City talks about several cities that they're using for inspiration, and that includes cities like Toronto, Vancouver, Barcelona. I'll actually just read the vision statement. So again, this is such a great plan because it has a vision statement, and most good plans will have one of these, and it's meant to sort of give you the overall idea for what this plan is trying to accomplish. And here it says, the goal of Andía is to be a walkable, atmospheric, realistic, contemporary city in the downtown core with various styles of architecture set in zones around the city. Most sections of Andía are inspired by real-world cities such as Toronto, Vancouver, Barcelona, Marseille, and Los Angeles. See, so there's the LA reference there, and we're just going to hover right over the beautiful beach here. Got this nice boardwalk we're following along the edge of the city. Very nice. Again, very, very similar to LA here. Got the palm trees going. Got the boardwalk following the beach. It's really nice. Waterfront promenades are a great feature for cities. Kind of this public space that allows people to access the water and creates a backdrop for buildings along the edge to define the edge. So you have this great thing with beach cities like this, where you have the built edge, and then you have the ocean or water here on the other side being kind of open. So you have these one-sided streets oriented around a waterfront promenade, and it's just pleasant to be on. People like being on boardwalks and waterfront promenades. So this is just a fantastic example of this here in the somewhat unfinished Bellevue neighborhood. So now we're coming up to a bridge, and this bridge connects us to the next area. So we'll get there in a minute, but I wanted to also mention here, I love this little detail that there's, I believe this is sand that's sort of coming up onto the path here. I like that, like the little, people track sand onto the pavement. It's very cool. And there's also a road over here. I like that they're including green bike lanes. The plan calls for consideration for a variety of modes: transit, biking. They have bus lanes. This is I believe a bus right here. I really appreciate that they're kind of thinking about how people will get around the city, and they're being fairly progressive with how they're planning the city around these pedestrian corridors like the waterfront promenades, and the bike lanes, and they have a lot of bus lanes too. And we're gonna head over here because there's another cool area. So like I said, this is an area that's somewhat unfinished. I love the pavement patterns here. I need to catalog pavement patterns I love in real life because there's so many just amazing ones all over the world. But okay, so here's a neighborhood coming up here. That's really cool. It's kind of interesting to me. I don't know exactly what their inspiration for this neighborhood is, but to me, this feels actually very San Francisco-esque. And you'll see why in a second here. Great. So here's the street. This is kind of the main street of this area. They're still working on this, I can tell. And I should mention, I did mention this in the beginning. I did a Minecraft video about 1.5 years ago. And in that video, I could barely operate the controls of Minecraft. I was very new to the game, and nothing has changed. I don't think I've been in Minecraft. Oh my gosh, there's somebody here. Cool. So I have not been in Minecraft in 1.5 years. I'm no better at this game. I have no sense for like what Minecraft is capable of, and I'm blown away by this. I didn't know Minecraft was capable of like being skinned or textured like this. This is insane. The level of detail. My goodness. It's just phenomenal. Like this has a fire hydrant that's like brick built. That's so cool. And so they're doing so many great things here. Of course, they're taking inspiration from other cities. Again, this reminds me so much of like the painted ladies of San Francisco, or the Victorian architecture with the different colors and the detail. But they're getting a lot right here that's important to talk about in terms of city planning. So the first thing that's important, oh my gosh. The first thing that's important is texture. So what is what a lot of cities have, and honestly, a lot of Minecraft cities I've seen have, are blank walls, like, just sheer glass or concrete walls that are not conducive to pedestrians being around it. Like, nobody wants to be around a big blank wall. It's intimidating and cold and not pedestrian scale at all. But by adding these skins, you get the siding here that adds this level of detail. It's very human scaled. And things like brickwork is also a very human scale type of material that makes you feel like this is a place designed for people and not cars or nobody. And my gosh, they have texture on the birch trees. That's crazy. Sorry, I'm just blown away by this, guys. Brick texture on the gutters here and all the benches. Anyway, so they're getting a lot right. So this texture makes it come alive and makes it feel like, I should be here as a pedestrian. Another thing they're getting right here is including the front porches. Now, front porches are really like an interesting sociological phenomena or psychological phenomena. A good front porch, like this is a pretty good one. Some of these are a little tall, but this is a good one right here, this brown building. It's set just high enough above the street so that as somebody who's sitting on the front porch, you can sort of feel detached from what's happening on the street, but not so detached that if you see a neighbor that you want to talk to, you could, kind of shout out, "Hey, how's it going?" And they could, initiate a conversation with you, and perhaps you invite them up to your porch. Of course, not in the days of COVID-19, but, when social interaction is acceptable again. But the front porch, sort of the height and the level of sort of screening from the street, getting that right is really important, because if you do it right, it facilitates sort of these casual encounters that make cities really, kind of a magical place. So this is really awesome. Okay, so I'm going to leave this street here because there's really not much else. I think they want to continue this, but I don't know how long it takes them to build this. Again, I'm not a Minecraft person. This just seems like it would take forever to build these buildings, and I think they have plans for more. But we're going to take a break here, stop here, and then go to our next neighborhood to the north, across that bridge that we just passed under. We're going to head to the Southern Marina District. Okay, we've arrived in the Southern Marina District, and I believe this is a lighthouse at the end of a long pier. Very cool. Some very nice kind of modernist urban design here at the paths. We got the yachts lined up along this Waterfront Promenade. Different paving patterns everywhere. I like this idea of kind of having different paving patterns representing different parts or different districts of the city. Okay, I think this is like some sort of historic schooner or ship of some kind. Pretty cool. And we're coming up on what looks like sort of a Ferris wheel, like the London Eye. Also, being on a pier reminds me of a little bit of Navy Pier in Chicago. So very cool. Very nice. I gotta say, I probably should stop being so impressed. Maybe this is just all so normal, but I don't know. The amount of time this must take, it's just sort of insane. This is it reminds me of like a dinner cruise boat here. Very neat. Okay, anyway, so we're heading off the pier. I'm going to keep following the waterfront because I just love this edge that they've really created here between the buildings and the waterfront along this promenade. There's again, just another condition here with this one there's no beach, so there's a fence separating it. Now this reminds me a little bit of Vancouver along the False Creek waterfront area, where you have sort of these mid-rise, I don't know, these could be like condos along the water, with this kind of path being the defining characteristic that kind of ties the whole district together. Okay, but we're leaving this modern area here, it looks like, and we're heading into something a little bit more historic. Yeah, like this is getting, again, back to this fascinating detail in the textures. Super cool. We got an outdoor amphitheater here. Awesome. Oh my gosh, this is just so cool. So, historical structure. So this is different than what we've seen in the Bellevue and then the other part of this area, or there's a bit of historical. I guess the houses that we saw too were historical, so I shouldn't say that. But this is, again, a different era in the history, it looks like. And one thing that the city plan does is it talks about the history of Andía, which, again, is totally the case in real city plans. You'll often see a history section where they explain eras, the important events that shaped the city into what it is today. And this is what they've done in this plan so well. For a little bit of a background here as to why we're seeing buildings like this, apparently Andía was invaded by Canada the Andean the Andean archipelago, that's a hard word to say, was invaded by the Canadians in 1922 because it was too cold in Canada. And this climate here, we can tell, is very Mediterranean and it has a beach. So the Canadians needed a place to vacation, I guess. But prior to 1922, the French had occupied the island. And I guess what we're seeing here, it looks like to me, I guess, is some maybe French occupation architecture here along the Mediterranean. This, to me, this area is feeling very Barcelona, feeling very Marseille, which are two of the cities they patterned their city off of. So this is great historical details here. Again, it just feels like, very much a coastal city. They're doing a great job here also of creating this permeable, wall between the outside and inside. They're creating that inside-outside connection that you'd want to see in a Mediterranean climate. It's just great. It's fantastic. Great planning here. Okay, we've come up to another, again, I love you have different plazas and different public spaces, and it's episodic. So you start out in this space here with an amphitheater, then it kind of narrows, and then it opens again onto this. It looks like a sculpture of a shark, a hammerhead shark. Sure. And then we're moving on here to another public space and another beautiful old building. It's very cool. I just want to peek around here. What do we got going on here? Oh yes, this is awesome. This is awesome. Okay, I'm gonna go back down. I'm gonna go down to street level here because they're doing again. Their attention to detail in the human scale and the pedestrian scale is just phenomenal. So one of my primary interests as a planner, I'm an academic planner now. I teach and do research, and my research is on pedestrian spaces. I actually did a paper and a video on pedestrian malls or pedestrian plazas, and this is a great example. I love how narrow this is. This is very period appropriate. So this is an example of a district that was probably planned before cars. So the primary scale here for the width of the street is how wide it needs to be for people to walk. And they did a great job here. And again, the detail, wow. It's fascinating they did trees in the middle. Oh, this is nice. Oh, oh man. Okay, so I did a great streets video a little while back. You can check that out on the channel. An enclosure is one of the most important parts of a street, making you feel comfortable and creating that human scale space instead of being, people don't want to be out in a vast wasteland. We feel uncomfortable. Like something about our species, we need to feel a little bit contained. And this is a great example. We're contained on all the walls, and the ceiling as well. We have this urban room. It's fantastic. Okay, so we're gonna head back through here. This is just a great example of like kind of a cool historic district. Reminds me a little bit of like New Orleans, even a little bit. Again, that's probably that French inspiration they're going for. And they have they even have fire escapes up there. Very nice. So they're doing a great job. Yeah, and one thing the plan does really well is that it lists each of the districts of Andía, and then it lists, all of the inspirations you should be looking to when designing for that part of the city. And it really talks about the different types of architectural style. So in this part of the Southern Marina district, it says, look to French examples. Look for, Riviera type examples when designing these spaces. And they've nailed it to a T. But congratulations to them. These little stalls here, these market stalls are so cute. My gosh. So again, the atmosphere they're creating here in the Southern Marina is just fantastic. These little speedboats, they're just nailing it. Gotta say, ooh. And there's a random helicopter here. Okay. So obviously this is a wealthy area. I don't know what this is. This to me looks like a kind of a museum. Sort of like a Bilbao effect modernist museum standing next to the historic core here. Anyway, so this is the Southern Marina section. Very nice. We're going to keep moving here. And let's see. So I want to get to the Northern Northern Marina District. I have museums on the brain. And we're going to go here. So this is like the main street of Andía. It's running along the coast here. And you can see, more marina related land uses to my right, and then these taller towers with some great views, I'm sure, of the bay or the water there. I like how they put cars in too. I mean, the thing with Minecraft cities in general is that they seem super desolate because there's no people walking around, but at least they tried to add some cars, which I appreciate. Kind of so the streets don't look totally empty. Okay, this to me feels very Vancouver. Sorry, I'm just going to stop here. I want to look at this. So what we have here looks like are townhomes on the lower level and then condos on the top. And this is exactly the kind of urban design that Vancouver is famous for. It's called Vancouverism. And it's where they try to have as many doors along the street as possible to activate the street. So this feels like, at the scale of the pedestrian here, it feels like we're just walking along a street of old brownstones, right? But then we have the additional density of the condos above. So I did a whole video on Vancouver. I visited Vancouver, and you can learn more about Vancouverism there. But it's clear to me that this is what they're talking about. They're trying to do here with this part of the city. Oh, low bridge. They have some, I don't know if these are people trimming the trees or, I don't know, they're fixing a street light. Very cool. Like the detail. I'm going to zoom back up here a little bit. So I think, I think we're still in the northern marina area here. But, oh yeah, this is cool. We're getting to the mass transit part here. So, like I mentioned, they have buses all over the place here. And if I see they did a great job of coloring bus lanes red and having dedicated bus lanes, which is just a great detail. If I see one, I'll point it out. But they also have metro transit, and they have it above ground. Again, Vancouver. This is such a Vancouver example. This reminds me of the SkyTrain so much. And they did a really great job. And in the plan, they are very specific about where all of their metro lines are. And they have them all planned out for the entire island. So clearly this is a city designed around mass transit. They also have a highway that I think it's designed around too. Okay, so if I read the map right, this track over here goes to like a shed where they park the trains when they're not in use. And this is a transit stop. Should we zoom inside here, fly in? Very cool. Very cool. All right. Yeah, wow. Geez, this is so detailed. They've really planned this out. They got the elevator shaft here and the escalators up and down. And is there a train at the station here? Yep, there's a train right there. And, okay, so I believe this goes out over here. And it goes to a cruise ship terminal, if I read the map right. And any second now we should be seeing a massive cruise ship. I think this is the cruise ship rendering here. Yeah. Holy cow. So this is like a whole different level of detail. I'm sure there's a whole team of people working on this. Oh my gosh. Okay, this is a city planning video, not a cruise ship video, but I am really tempted to explore this entire cruise ship, but I will not. But there's a cruise ship here in a cruise terminal, and then transit to the cruise terminal, which is very handy for people visiting. They can go right from their cruise ship on these sky bridges here to the train, and then they can go to all parts of India. So well done, well thought out for the visitors here. I like it a lot. Okay, so I am going to stop our exploration of the northern Marina district here, and we're going to pick it up in the central district, the CBD. Okay, we are in the central district, or the central business district, and already you can tell that we are there because buildings are much taller here. So we're going to follow along this elevated rail line here as we sort of get into the city more and away from the waterfronts. And it's interesting. Oh, there's an interesting mix here. So, on first glance, I thought these were all tall buildings, but I like how they have some historic buildings kind of mixed in here. And this is, again, another great detail and a nod to real cities, because real cities are accumulations of buildings through time, right? Most cities are not built in one era. They exist in multiple eras. And I really like this, how they have these modern buildings right up next to these old brick buildings. Very real. But wow, these are some very tall buildings here. And that is something that they are planning out. So in their plan, they have height restrictions and height requirements for different parts of the city. So they say where they want to have tall buildings, where they want to have low and medium rise buildings. And it's very, very similar to real plans. In fact, the city of San Francisco is a great example of this. It's something I always think about. So in the urban design element of the San Francisco general plan, it specifies that taller buildings in the city should be placed on the tops of hills, and the lower, shorter buildings should be placed in the valleys. That way, the famous hills of San Francisco are accentuated by the skyline, by the buildings itself, which is just a really cool thing. So, there's always that possibility that you might lose the hills of San Francisco if you're looking at the skyline because, the building heights wouldn't reflect it, but in San Francisco, they do. So you can really plan out a skyline, and real cities do plan out a skyline. So they're clearly thinking, using their plan as a way to develop their skyline and be able to sort of plan the city on a different scale, the scale of kind of looking back towards it. So we're going to keep going here. Sorry, I just get excited and start talking. What's this? A space over here? Oh, this is a nice little, this looks like a historic reuse here, like an old brick building, and then they just plopped a skyscraper on top of it, a very Hearst Tower in New York City. That's what that reminds me of. And all right, let's keep going here. So another cool thing that this plan has for Andia City, again, this attention to detail, keep coming back to it, is that they have a plan for view corridors. So view corridors are designated by a city to give those people living and working in high rises a view, often to the water or surrounding nature. It also prevents other high rises from blocking the existing high rises view. So it's a way of coordinating buildings and, again, building heights to maximize the views of the surroundings. So in Vancouver is famous for this. Again, lots of inspiration here from Vancouver and Andia. Vancouver is well known for preserving views and landscaping its skyline. So they have Vancouver's view corridors are meant to protect views of the North Shore Mountains, the downtown skyline, and the water that they're surrounded by. This is just, wow, this is just lovely. I kind of like flying around like I'm on the train or just above the train. Great. I also love that they include parking here. Now, parking does not make its way into the plan, and I think it should. It'd be great to have parking policy in a fake plan. But the fact that they're including parking is a nod again to reality. Business owners love parking in front of their businesses, and too many of these streets here do not have parking, and that seems a bit unrealistic to me. Now, maybe this main street would not, but this street might, and this street over here should. But, nobody likes to think it does. They got it. All right, they're on top of it. Shouldn't have questioned them. The city's awesome. Okay, so I'm not going to go to all the other parts of the city. There is the waterfront and some of the financial district that I have not checked out yet. But this is a city in progress, and I wanted to show you just some of the areas I found most impressive. So what do I think overall? Speaking as a city planner, somebody who's kind of thought about this stuff in the real world. So I think it's very cool that a team of people would not only want to create a new city in Minecraft inspired by real world cities, but also design a plan inspired by real world cities. So that's just like next level to me. I mean, it's one thing to start, putting up buildings that remind you of real life. And, maybe you think, oh, okay, I'm going to just kind of, redo Vancouver or redo Barcelona. But the fact that they're actually taking the time to write a long document that explains exactly how the city should grow and develop, what its transportation options should be, what its height should be, what the urban design look and feel should be, is just amazing. Now, I will say, I challenge the designers of the city to think about the areas of the map that are undeveloped. And I wonder what's going to happen. So now they have, even in the lower density areas of what we saw, it's pretty high density. Are they going to include typical suburban subdivisions with single family homes around this city? Or are they going to kind of do it Hong Kong style, where it's just all high rises and natural area? It remains to be seen. I'm excited to see where they take it. It's going to be fun because, again, with a good plan like the one they have, they can really do some, impressive coordinated stuff, and they already have. So I want to just give such credit to the designers of Andia. I've enjoyed touring it. It surprises me at every turn with the level of detail. So thanks for coming along with me on this tour of the Minecraft city. I think this may be the best planned city in Minecraft I've ever seen. Let me know in the comments if you know other great planned Minecraft cities. I'd love to hear them. But until next time, thanks so much, everyone.
A while back, I did a viewer survey, and it told me that quite a few of you enjoyed the great YouTuber Tom Scott. Guess what? It turns out that Tom has produced and released a new Nebula original series called Money. It's what I would call a game theory game show. Now, all of content on Nebula is great, including my own 2 Nebula originals, but Money is just excellent. My wife and I started watching and immediately got hooked. We binge-watched the entire series. It features other YouTubers as contestants too. Money is well worth your, money. A subscription to Nebula starts at just $3 a month or $20 a year. In addition to Tom Scott's original, you get exclusive content from all sorts of fantastic and thoughtful creators, like Real Engineering, Minute Physics, and Tierzoo. And like I said, I have 2 Nebula originals for you to check out. One is on the history of the city of Rome, and the other is on the show Parks and Recreation. As if that wasn't good enough, you also get access to the streaming documentary video service CuriosityStream. Let's say you're interested in learning more about cities. They have videos about Rome, future cities, Masdar, and more. And all of these documentaries are really high quality and included in that extremely low subscription price. So please consider signing up. When you do, you're supporting a platform built by thoughtful creators that you probably already know and love. To sign up, go to curiositystream.com/citybeautiful. There's a link in the description. Thanks.